Hi, welcome back. And today I want to talk to you about if you're moving to Flower Mound, you're relocating, or you're right-sizing your home. Everybody's talking about, oh, I'm going to downsize my home. Well, what does that mean? And I want to talk about right-sizing, because downsizing means that you're going into something super small, which I've done before. And unless you're prepared for something like that, it can be a major shock to your system. So it's not about going smaller. It's about finding the home that fits your lifestyle today. Whether you have a family, whether you're just a couple, whether you're just retiring, whatever it is, whatever you're looking for, number one, Flower Mound's got it. Number two, you're going to be able to find what you're looking for. So we're going to be talking about lifestyle, talk about budget, community fit in Flower Mound. So number one, what is right sizing? Well, the difference between downsizing and right sizing is my wife and I right sized our home, or where we wanted to live. We were looking for something super specific, certain amount of square footage, 3 bedrooms, at least 2 baths, and a nice sized yard. We didn't want a zero lot situation, which a lot of people do want, but that wasn't what we wanted. We didn't want to live in a townhouse, which is what a lot of people do want, but I still wanted a yard, and I'm putting in a pool. So if you want to watch that on one of the other videos, I've got that going for you as well. But anyway, downsizing is going from, say, 10,000, 6,000, 7,000 square feet down to 1,500 or 2,000. And you generally have a lot of stuff, and I don't know that that's the proper term for what you're kind of looking for in Flower Mound. Let's talk more about right sizing. You know, if you are having a 3,500 square foot home with stairs or 2 staircases, which a lot of these bigger homes have, they have one off the kitchen and one in the front door. So maybe you don't want stairs. Maybe you don't want something that's step down or multiple levels. You know, maybe you want a right size yard. There's a lot of homes out here that are at least a quarter acre, a full acre, or bigger, especially if you go up into Double Oak or Highland Village. Some of those areas, 2, 3, 10 acres. Maybe you don't want to take care of all that anymore, and you just want something that's maybe 1/10 of an acre, maybe a quarter acre. You know, do you need some flexible spaces? When I say that, you know, I wanted an office. Do you need an office? Do you need 2 offices? Do you need to have that big game room, that big media room that you had before? If you don't, then look for something else. And again, there's plenty of what you're looking for here. It's just that you got to get really specific on when you're relocating, what are you looking for? You know, why does Flower Mound, you know, the second thing is why Flower Mound works. There is a mix of large homes. There's a mix of lock and leave options, and there are single story plans like all over the place. If you look and you go into some of these other suburbs, say Frisco or parts of Plano, if you start going even further north, what you're going to find is these neighborhoods that it may be 2,000 square feet, but they're crammed really close together and they go up, right? So there's not a lot of room for single story homes. Well, Flower Mound is a lot more established, and you have a lot of those choices. Now, a lot of the stuff they are building is they're going up. You know, Toll Brothers has a big community. Those are all going to be 2-story, I believe. I don't know that there's going to be any 1-story properties. David Weekley's got some stuff that they're still cutting the streets out, but those are going to be, you know, 2- and 3-story townhomes. I don't know if they'll be 3-story, but they'll be at least 2-story. So think about that. Do you want single story? Are you fine with stairs? But what's going to be upstairs? Is it going to be guest, or are you going to be going up and down those stairs yourself? Communities like where I live, Bridlewood, perfect example. We have single story plans. We have 2-story plans. It's up to you. There is a gated community as well. Those homes are a little bit bigger, the reserve. But you have golf. We have a clubhouse. We have plenty of social life. So if that's what you're looking for, you might want to gravitate toward that. Wellington is a super huge community, I think, and they have a great amenity center. Bridlewood has a great amenity center too. Is that important to you? You know, think about that. And I know I keep harping on this a lot, but it's true. Access to DFW Airport is big because it is generally a 20 to 30 minute drive from any point in Flower Mound. And if you travel a lot or you have family that's traveling a lot, it's easy to get in and out of. And that's important because traffic is a bear in Dallas and Fort Worth trying to get to and from the airport. Medical care, there are medical facilities all over the place. The major hospital is Texas Health Presbyterian. It's over on 2499, but you have Baylor Scott and White not too far away. You have a big hospital in Louisville, and then there's just special care doctors everywhere, whatever it is you need. And retail, there's plenty of retail. All the major grocers are here. Plenty of gas stations, plenty of shopping. You can go up into Highland Village, which is a very short drive. And there's Louisville. There's not too much stuff in Argyle. But you can go down to South Lake Town Center. Awesome. Only about 20 minutes drive from here. So you've got plenty of retail to access. The third thing is the lifestyle fit. You know, what if you're a couple and your kids are gone? Do you need 5 bedrooms? I mean, you might still need the space for the grandkids and for when people are visiting, but think about what you need and what you don't need. And that's the right sizing portion that I'm talking about when you're relocating to Flower Mound. And when I mean relocating, I'm talking about it could be from Dallas to Flower Mound, it could be from Austin to Flower Mound, it could be from Seattle to Flower Mound. Relocation comes in all shapes and sizes. You know, people that want lower maintenance, everybody wants lower maintenance, right? So do you want a yard? Do you want a pool? Do you want to take care of a pool? Do you want the ability to build a pool like I'm doing? What do you need from your HOA? There are certain HOAs that I'm familiar with that they'll mow the front yard. You know, is that something you want? You still got to take care of the backyard. But think about what your needs would be. Because even though you might be right sizing, if you get something too small, and let's say you have a family, are you still going to be able to entertain? Are you going to be able to visit with your kids, your grandkids? Who knows? And this goes for any couple that are moving here. Do you need something that's 5,000 square feet, 3,500 square feet? Or can you live with 2,500 square feet? And what does that look like? The best way to do it is to get with somebody, get in the car and start driving around and looking at the different square footage and see what fits for you. The fourth thing that would be kind of a consideration is what is the financial perspective? You know, if you're selling a large home and you're moving to Flower Mound, or if you're in Flower Mound and you're moving to a smaller home, are you going to free up a bunch of equity that you have from that larger home? What can you do with that equity? Do you want to travel? Do you need to pay off stuff? Do you want to add it to your retirement? Who knows? And that goes for any age. It's not just people that are retiring. When I was doing a bunch of relocation during COVID and people were moving here from California, they were moving from smaller homes to bigger homes, but they had a ton of equity and they weren't sinking all of it necessarily into their home, but they had a lot of equity. So are you in that situation? You know, lower maintenance cost and utility cost. I think that when you right size a home, you can figure out pretty much how you want to regulate your water bill, your electric bill, your gas bill. I mean, you don't use much gas during the summertime, right? Because it's mostly for hot water and the hot water heater. But in the wintertime, that goes up, the electricity cost goes down. So what I'm trying to say is right sizing doesn't mean less. It just means smarter. Just think about what the right size when you are relocating here is. Because downsizing, to me, it's got like this bad connotation. It's like, oh, we're going to live in cramped quarters and I'm going to have to pay for a storage unit, which is another thing I don't want you to do, is to rent one of those storage units. So we're talking about less stress and more lifestyle. And when I moved, when my wife and I moved, we travel a lot, and I did not want to give up traveling. So if I had a bigger house and had to take care of all this stuff and all these other expenses, were we going to have to give that up? And that was a big, hard no for me, because I sacrificed enough during the course of my life and I wasn't ready to do it again. So when you are visiting Flower Mound, because it's so super important, you can look at Instagram or Facebook or whatever videos that you are looking at about, that's all the flashy stuff, right? You really need to get in the car and come here and drive the neighborhoods and get a feel for everything. Look at the golf course, look at the lakefront. If you are looking at 55 plus communities, they're dotted all over the place. But you got to figure out what is convenient and what works for you with your lifestyle. And you got to figure what your future needs are. I think sometimes that people just get so short-sighted, and it's like, am I going to need this? If you're going to stay in a home, people used to stay in their home 15 and 20 years, right? When I was growing up, that's the way it was. Nobody moved. But now people have a 3 to 5, sometimes 5 to 7 year timeline. And if that's your timeline, that's something that you really need to get with a real estate professional and discuss, because if you're buying in certain areas and there's still new construction going on and you decide in 3 years, I think I'm going to sell, guess what? Your competition's the new construction and they'll undercut you. Believe me. I've seen it happen. You don't want to be there. And when you're considering that, consider your, single story maybe. Maybe a single story is not right for you, and maybe a 2-story is great. It's up to you. But again, right sizing, not downsizing. And if you need medical care and stuff, think about what the proximity to that is. You need to find out from your realtor that lives in the Flower Mound area, whether it's Highland Village or Argyle or Flower Mound or Louisville or any of these surrounding it, Double Oak. They'll know. I live here, I work here, and I invest here. So I understand it, and it's so super important that you get with somebody that knows what they're doing and knows the area, because if you don't, you could end up picking the wrong area. It's not the wrong area, but it could be the wrong area for you. So let's wrap it up. Right-sizing isn't about sacrifice. It's about freedom and fit. I'm Chris Hooper with Chris Hooper Realty. I will see you next time.